Okay, guys. What's going on, guys? I'm going to try my best to look at the camera when I'm talking, but this is really kind of like a film study. I wanted you guys to get a good idea of what's going on. If you're on Instagram, I highly suggest you head over to YouTube because I'll be doing a lot of marking with this film, and I want you guys to see it. But if you just want to stick around on Instagram and just watch the film, it'll still be playing. You'll still be able to see the recording and what I'm talking about, but you won't be able to see who I'm highlighting. So it might be a little bit confusing. So if you're interested, head over to YouTube and we'll get started with that. If you are talking on Instagram, I'll go ahead and look at the chat. I'll try my best to anyway and get a good idea of where you are at. Brett, let's go. Good time. What's up, 5-star? Can't wait for the game. Yes, can't wait for it. Rashad touchdown. Could be, Slambert. Could be. If you can't hear my sound, let me know in the description. Why not watch both? Why not watch both? You know what I mean? Yeah, you could do both. There's sound. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're good to go. Let me go ahead and again head over to YouTube if you're interested in me highlighting some of this film for this game. I will try my best to remember the names of these guys. It's been a long day, but I'll try and get you guys prepared for the game as best as I can as far as what to expect and things of that nature. So let's get started because I know the game's coming on and I know you guys want to get to the game. The Ravens-Bucs game is intriguing. I think it's going to go the Ravens' way. If you watch the podcast, you have a good idea of why I believe that is. The Bucs, they do have a good sense of stopping the run. They do load the box. I think they're one of the top 5 teams in the league in terms of loading the box. They do have a good idea of how to stop the run. They will seldom stop the run. They would definitely want Todd Bowles want this team to establish stopping the run, but they will sell themselves to the point where they're very susceptible to the play action pass, something that we saw against the Commanders last week and a little bit with the Bengals the week prior to that. So I expect the Ravens to continue their play action game. They may want to establish the run, and they do so. Their game plan probably will be to start with the pass and then have those linebackers cheat up. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why not use the play action to your benefit in this one? Let me go back and make sure that you guys can hear me okay. No touchdowns. Henry's last game against the Bucs only averaged 59 yards. Yeah, but this isn't the same game. I mean, really got to be careful of how we analyze those type of games. I can look at the Titans film, completely different team, completely different style of football for the Ravens. The teams definitely have to account for Henry. So he may not have 100 yards this game, but if they're doing that well against Henry, I'm almost positive Lamar Jackson's running for 100 yards, throwing for another 300, that type of deal. Because if you're really going to stop Henry in this offense, you have to sell yourself. And something that, teams may do to perfection. The Bengals had that same game plan and it almost worked. The ideal is to just score more points than your opponent because the Ravens are going to score points and you just make sure that by the time the clock hits 0, you got more points than the opposing team. So high scoring game today, maybe read option crazy tight tonight. Yeah, most likely the read option will be used for perfection. All right, but let's get started with the film. Thoughts on Baker, Wyatt? I think that Baker Mayfield is going to be, he's going to be good. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think his stats speak for himself. It's going to be, and I'm going to show you a clip right now. This is the Eagles game. Chris Godwin is going to be a huge part of this. And it's not just going to be middle of the field stuff. It's going to be stuff where they're asking the defense to read what they're trying to do and communicate on the fly, something that the Ravens have struggled with. So I used this play in particular to illustrate what is actually going to happen. I didn't get to show the beginning of this clip, but pretty much Chris Godwin is motioning from the bottom of the screen to the top of the screen, and he's going to ask these linebackers and corners to communicate what's happening. Like while this motion is going on, they need to be communicating the Ravens about exactly who's supposed to be on who, what the plan is, because when at the start of this play, you're thinking, he's going to run her out. But right now, it looks like Godwin could be doing anything. He could just hand off from Baker Mayfield and what could be an end around. It could be a screen play. Could be a run play to the running back. So you got to communicate, got to make sure that you're on your toes with this. It is week 7, so teams do have a better idea of how teams are going to play each other, but you want to be able to communicate something that the Ravens haven't been able to do so far. So again, if you're on YouTube, that's awesome. You'll be able to see me highlight this stuff. If not, then just pay attention as best you can. So we mentioned it. This is a streaking Chris Godwin going up to the top of the screen. Again, the Eagles have almost 9 guys in the box right now, so they're thinking run, obviously. But they need to pay attention to Chris Godwin, and something that the Ravens also need to do. You got one-on-one matchup here with Mike Evans. So, of course, this corner is responsible for that. And then you got the single high safety, something that a lot of teams run, but most teams these days are running too high. So it'll be interesting how the Ravens do it. The Ravens do run some cover 1, not much cover 2, and then they kind of spread it out between cover 3, 4, and 6. So well, interesting to see how the Ravens do it. I would love the Ravens to play a more aggressive style of defense, something that we saw against the Bills and a little bit against the Commanders. Don't have these guys 5-10 yards away from Mike Evans and expect them not to take advantage of the space. So that's my thought about it. Let's run the play finally and see what happens here. Ball is hiked, thrown out, missed tackle, and then Chris Godwin takes it for a big gain. So the Ravens have to make sure that they're doing what they need to do on defense and communicating, because that's going to be a big issue, I think, in this game. Let's see if Dean Please blueprint will help Roquan today. We'll see. Didn't look like much change last week, but I think Dean Pease will implement a little more of his thought process. I think it's still going to be the same defense we've seen for the last 3 years. But I think that with Dean Pease, you may get a little more comfortable in these high-pressure situations, something that I don't think Zach Ertz is accustomed to, because this will be his, 6th game, 7th game calling plays at all. But then I see Roquan in single-man coverage. No, I don't want to see Roquan in single-man coverage. I don't want to see Roquan starting in the middle of the defensive line and then shooting up, trying to fool Baker Mayfield. Just play football. I mean, they got the talent. Hopefully we can limit Vita. I mean, so far so good, John. I think that the Ravens have done a good job of holding these interior linemen. The guards have done very well. They're using their size and their speed, something that I can't believe I'm saying it in week 7, something that I thought would never be uttered out of my mouth. So we'll see. Hello from Germany. Thank you, Mark. Who's taller, Wiggins or Brandon Stevens? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm going to say Wiggins. Wiggins looks like a tall, lanky guy. So I think, and to that thoughts on Mark Andrews, I think this is going to be a big game, Markham, for Mark Andrews. I also think that the Ravens will have Marlon Humphrey one-on-one with Chris Godwin. I don't think they'll deviate from their typical alignment where they have Marlon Humphrey in the interior of that defense, and then Nate Wiggins and Brandon Stevens on the outside. So could be a big game for potentially Mike Evans to have his day. We on that tonight. What's up, Sav? Hey, congratulations. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I think that the Ravens will have Nate Wiggins on Mike Evans, some Brandon Stevens on Mike Evans, a little bit of that. But I think interior wise, you'll have a lot of Chris Godwin in the middle of the defense, and it'll be up to Marlon Humphrey to protect that middle of the field stuff, something that the Ravens have struggled with so far this year. Want to see more of Marcus Williams tonight? It's up to him. His communication has been faulty. Caught out of position a lot, and it's cost them big plays. So hopefully the Ravens get their act together with that. Let's see. Let's keep the play going. So again, it was a motion to the left. Chris Godwin, play was going to him all the time. Missed tackle, can't happen. And then a big play for Chris Godwin down the field. So a lot of communication on that play. I need to see the Ravens do that for sure in 20, and then in week 4, in week 7, I should say. Is Mother going to be active? Probably. That could happen. I think we'll find out actually right now. Let me see if I can get a good idea of where the Ravens are at as far as who's playing and who's not. Used to get a good idea by now. Oh, guess who's active? Tez Walker. Tez Walker will be playing this game. No Rasheed Ali, no Bo Braid, no Adisa Isaac, no Nick Samak, and no Broderick Washington, who was doubtful to play anyway. But Tez Walker gets his first action. I don't know who will play a lot of special teams. You might see him on the field. That would be interesting. I would love to see him on the field for a couple of possessions and see what he got. But Tez Walker sighting, that's pretty awesome. Really worried about 13 and Godwin, the Baymakers make. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. They got to stop the Ravens. I think it stops and starts with the Ravens offense. If you can keep Baker Mayfield off the field, keep Mike Evans, keep Godwin out the field, then it won't matter how susceptible they are to the pass. They won't be able to get on the field to score enough points. So the Ravens have to get long drives together. Red zone, they're number 1 in the league as far as red zone touchdown rate. So the Ravens have that to their advantage. The Bucs defense is just not good. Yeah, they lost some pieces to get some guys back, but fundamentally in their core, they're not a very good defense when it comes to the things that the Ravens do well. So I think it's going to be great. for the Ravens. I think it's going to be a big day. And the Ravens shine on Monday Night Football. Don't forget that. All right, so we have this. If you're on YouTube, you really can't see, but right now they're playing a bit of pistol with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley at halfback, and the Bucs are running. And again, if you're on Instagram, you can't see me circling this, but they got about 7 guys in the box. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 guys in the box right now. So heavy box formation, not unfamiliar to the Bucs. They do that often. And they're here to stop the run. The Saquon Barkley, a la Derrick Henry, both free agent acquisitions, both doing great things for their offense. And Todd Bowles is not going to allow it. He's not going to let the running game get things going. So let's see how the Bucs do at this play. Like the ball. Oh, look at that. Great pursuit. They look like the Ravens of 2006, able to get to the ball. They're very well coached when it comes to stopping the run. Let's look at it from this angle. I'm sorry that you're seeing my picture here and it's causing some confusion. But, you know, David's on the left side and he's going to come in and crash. They pulled the left guard. Let's look at it again because something that the Ravens do as well. Let me stop it here. Bring out my whiteboard. Pulling the guard. Ravens do that all the time. He's going to come here and try and steal this side of the field. The Ravens did that, if you remember. I don't know what game it was. It was maybe the Cowboys game. I think it was the Cowboys game where they had to pull Faalele to the left side. And both he and Tylan Wallace had a great steal to unleash Derrick Henry. And this is very similar to what the Ravens run. Unfortunately for the Eagles, it didn't go quite the way that they hoped. They didn't get that seal, something that Tylan Wallace does well, and they're able to stop Saquon Barkley for no gain. Okay. Talked about it. Tez Walker could have a sneaky game with the attributes. Maybe he could. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of playing time. You're asking a lot because the Ravens run a lot of 12 personnel, which means they really only have Zay Flowers and Bateman on the field at a time. They really do like to have Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely on the field. At the same time, they use Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews both as receivers or tight ends. It's very interchangeable, which makes them so dangerous. So they'll have to probably be in a really devious passing situation, 3rd and long, to see Tez Walker out there. I think the Ravens do run 12 and 13 personnel very, very rapidly. So I don't expect him to have much playing time, but if he gets on the field, show me something. Okay, so this is what I wanted to talk about. Very similar to what the Bucs run, I should say. The Bucs have heavy set formation a lot of times. When I say heavy set, I mean heavy box at times. So look at this. Redskins, Commanders, whatever. Very similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They want to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry sitting here looking delicious for the Ravens out there. So again, we talked about it, how the Ravens like to run 12 and 13 personnel. We got Patrick Ricard out here already. We got, looks like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman on one side and the other. Ravens are going to pound the rock, right? That's the idea. But Zay Flowers over here and Rashad over here, they're going to pound the rock and destroy this defense is what the Commanders are nervous about. But that's not what happens here. Now remember, look at the looks. We got one guy over here. We got man on man over here. And you got one high safety here. That's the play. Everybody else is designed. Get after Derrick Henry. Let's press play. See what happens. Look at that. Play action. Dot. Big game. Killer. It's a killer. If you're running heavy set, if you're running a heavy box against the Ravens, yeah, you're going to stop Derrick Henry for 4 yards. Oh, we stopped Derrick Henry for 56 yards the last time the Bucs played. Yeah, sure. Ooh. What about Lamar? What about number 8? What about the MVP? What about Mr. MVP? And my boy Kevin Oestreicher dubbed him potential MV3, his 3rd MVP award. So what about him? What are you going to do to stop Lamar Jackson? Because he's the most important guy on this field. Derrick Henry is what churns the pancake mix. All right. But this is the syrup right here. Lamar Jackson, he's the guy. So you can definitely try and stop the run if you want to, but you're leaving Zay Flowers, who is amazing, at short and intermediate stuff. Definitely one of the better route runners in the league right now to dice you up. Only one single high safety, you're asking a lot. You got a receiver here streaking, and you got one-on-one coverage over here with this guy. You're asking a lot from this guy. You're asking a lot from this corner. So I get wanting to be that guy. I get wanting to be a team that stops the run. And really, I can't fault the DCs because there's really nothing else you can do with this team but try and stop the run. But you got Lamar Jackson to worry about. This isn't 2019. This isn't 2018. Lamar, one of the better passers in this league. If you give him that much space, I mean, let's go back and look at it. I think I had this clip during my pivotal moments on YouTube. But let's take a look at all the space we got here. Look at all this space for Lamar Jackson to work with. And if you're watching on Instagram, I'm just pointing out the space between the safety and the linebackers, the corner and the safety. Look at all that space that Lamar has to work with. You don't need to send more than two guys because everyone is cheating up. Look at the way the linebackers react to the play action. Boom. They're all designed to stop the run. Patrick Ricard sells it perfectly by motioning to the outside, but really he's there to block and be that sixth or seventh blocker for Lamar Jackson. This is just about Zay Flowers being better than the corner and Lamar Jackson with the wherewithal to know where to throw the football. And that's all it is. We talk about Lamar can't throw. Where's that at? Dante, what's up, Flock? Sam, good stuff. Let's go. Who's stopping 22? Nobody. Not the Bucs. Now next week, we're not going to get there yet, but next week the Browns do present some challenges with the Ravens. But as far as this Bucs game go, no sirree. I don't see it. A little scared of Baker tonight, Ian. I get it. Baker's playing good, and the defense isn't playing that great, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So, I mean, that's the gist of it. The Ravens, I think, are going to win this game. I predicted 14-point victory. I think if the DBs continue to struggle, it could be a lot closer, but this is the Ravens game. Can you stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? The answer is no. Very few teams can stop him, especially as this offensive line has gelled and gotten better at pass protection and run blocking. They struggled in run blocking. They were always decent at pass protection, even by Lele. He had some struggles with stunts and moves, but for the most part, he was really good at blocking. But now he's getting comfortable as a run blocker. He's moving effectively, more so. We talked about how he was not really built as a guard, and he's not, but they're using his size very well to their advantage, and I think that the Ravens will have a big game today. Our prediction, I think, was 34-20. Ravens win. Might be a little much. I think the Ravens hit 34. I think the Ravens hit 30 points for sure. How much more remains to be seen. We'll find out. I'll let y'all go. That's just a little piece. It's 7 p.m. Eastern time. I know you guys want to get ready for the game, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit of where I was thinking at, my head was at as the game is approaching. That's pretty much it. What would you want to replace Williams with? I think Ardarius Washington deserves more reps. Caleb, I think Ardarius Washington has earned that right. Marcus Williams, he's rangy. He has the ability. He just keeps getting caught out of position. So I think he needs to be one. He needs to trust his guys, and that's very hard to do because sometimes his corners and linebackers do struggle a bit. And two, he needs to just be smart. Be the safety. You're the safety for a reason. The last line of defense cannot allow big players over the top. All right, that's going to do it for us here. I'll be back tomorrow with the Pivotal Moments analysis, all 22, and then we'll have the podcast early and next in the week, middle of the week, and then we'll keep it pushing. That's going to do it. See you guys later. Let's go Ravens. Yes, sir.